Tinting windows in this part of the country is big business, but the application of dark film that only allows about 5% of the outside light to get in will soon be a thing of the past. A new law goes into effect in 10 days that will prohibit the use of the dark film on windshields and the driver and passenger windows. If you feel you have to have tinting, it must allow 70% of the outside light in. Despite the new law, tinters say it won't hurt business.
I don't have any bad feelings about it at all. You know, in Texas, it happened the same way. They passed a law where the 35% film was the legal thing to put on the driver and passenger doors, and all it did was generate business for them.
The new law will not affect vehicles that already have the darkly tinted windows until 1990. In fact, the ruling will be hard to enforce at all until the new 1986 models arrive. There are several reasons for the new ordinance.
First is it's a safety factor insofar as an officer approaching a vehicle, you can't see in them. Second is, I'm sure you've seen windows that's got this mirror on them, and if you get that in the sunlight directly in your eyes, it blinds the oncoming or a following vehicle.
The new ruling does not affect any rear windows. You may still tint them as darkly as you wish. Ann Nyberg, News 4.
Well, I just don't think I am 100 years old. I forget it. Tried to forget it. That sounds terrible. But then it's that or else, isn't it?
Yes, we're confident our application's in good shape. We've put a lot of time and effort and a lot of money in getting it ready, and we're excited about the prospects of the commission reviewing it.
You figure it'll pass the test, this first test of the commission then?
Well, we're not certain exactly what the first test is, but if it's just the statutory requirements and the requirements of the application, yes, we're very confident it'll pass this test.
Talk about a legend. Tina Turner is one enduring performer. Her fans love her not just for her music, but also for her bold, independent spirit. She'll be awing a myriad audience tonight at 8. Another legend in the making, Amy Grant, will be bringing her Unguarded tour to Lloyd Noble next Monday at 8. Amy's contemporary Christian music is described by many as electrifying and deeply moving. Before that concert date, you'll have plenty of time to get to Wewoka for their annual Sorghum Day. There'll be fun for the whole family. The old mill will be in full swing, and there'll be enough fresh sorghum to satisfy the most demanding sweet tooth. All day tomorrow in downtown Wewoka. You don't have to wait till tomorrow for the opening of Edmond Community Theater's next production. It's Wait Until Dark, and it runs tonight and tomorrow at 8, and again next Friday and Saturday at 8. The Judd Theater on the Oklahoma Christian College campus. Also on stage, Gemini continues its run. The comedy transports you to an Italian neighborhood in Philadelphia where love, generosity, and plates of spaghetti abound. Tonight and tomorrow at 8, 2:30 on Sunday at Stage Center.
The Honorable Reverend Spice.
Thank you, Vera. Thank you.
And there's still time to see Greater Tuna, that tale of a day in the life of Tuna, Texas. It's everything and everyone you'd expect in a small town, and it's a joy. Wednesdays through Saturdays at 8, Sundays at 2:30 through November 3rd at the Jewel Box. Ballet Oklahoma is opening its season with a joyful birthday salute to Handel and Bach. Performances will take place tomorrow at 8:15 and Sunday at 2 at the Civic Center. And for toe-tapping of another sort, head for the Myriad on Tuesday night when Kenny Rodgers and the Oakridge Boys take the stage at 8.
To establish a revolving fund used in deposits. Many of the states long ago established a small business office that is an advocacy office and a source of central information for those who are wanting to make small business investments so that they can go there and find out what the rules and regulations and laws that are applicable to that operation are, and can also get some guidance or leads as to where to look for some of the gap or startup capital that they're going to need.
Greenwich, or 6 o'clock this evening. Okay, you're at Oklahoma City now, and there, let's see, Nolan's in the way. 1,000 scattered, seating 10,000 broken, 5,000 overcast.
I would think so, yes. We have access to better, more current and faster information, more up-to-date information.
Ms. Hermes?
Aye.
Dr. Heath?
Aye.
Ms. Donworth?
Aye.
All aye.
At a special meeting of the Oklahoma City School Board, members unanimously passed a resolution calling for an $11.9 million bond election. If approved, the money would be used for a series of repair projects at most of the district's older facilities. Capitol Hill High School is the oldest school in the district and probably the one in most need of repair. This telephone switchboard is so antiquated, repairmen can't even buy parts to fix it anymore. If the bond is passed, it will be replaced. The boiler is 56 years old. It is also slated for the scrap heap. Sometimes when the boiler breaks down, the kids go cold. The plumbing is also bad. The principal has a complaint list as old and long as the building itself.
Oh, that sewer backing up, no water for the restrooms. Sometimes if we have a boiler problem, we don't have the heat to keep 1,000 or more students plus the staff warm.
The $11.9 million bond will not be a cure-all for Capitol Hill. It would take all of that money and more to return this grand old building to its original state. But administrators are confident the bond is a step in the right direction. Kurt Autry, News 4, Southwest Oklahoma City.
In the past, about a third of the people arrested for drunk driving attended a substance abuse course. That will change tomorrow when Oklahoma's new DUI laws take effect. Beginning tomorrow, people arrested for drunk driving will not get their driver's license back until after they've completed a state-certified alcohol abuse class. DUI school administrators say it's important for drinking drivers to become educated about the effects of alcohol.
To know how alcohol and drugs affect the driving task and how much or how little it takes before your vision, your coordination, and your judgment are affected.
It's a short step. We'd like to see a lot more at MAD.
Bob Alsobrook's wife was killed by a hit-and-run driver last summer. He supports the new educational requirement and wishes the state would get even tougher on drunk drivers.
Better enforcement, removal of driver's license, getting the people off the street, even so far as confiscating the vehicle. We'd like to have victims' compensation and just anything to get the drivers off the street.
DUI school administrators say their alcohol abuse educational programs are open to everyone, not just people who've been arrested for drunk driving. Scott Wallace, News 4.
Low priority or high price gas. If they don't sell anything during the month of November, but they can't buy the gas because Panhandle won't. At midnight, our contracts are no good. And so the factories and plants in the north, our place in Peoria, our fried chicken factory in Arkansas, doesn't have a gas supply.
And they won't.
For no one seems to know whether it's 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years.
I mean, really, even the buyers don't win in a situation like this because they're driving the prices of houses down. And so when they get ready to sell, they've already driven the price down. So they think that they're getting a good deal. And in a sense, they're getting a good deal because the rates are high enough to make people hurt on their payments. And they can buy more house. And they'll be able to live better in that house. When they get ready to sell, they will have hurt their own market.
The twin-engine Beechcraft crashed just a few hundred yards from Expressway Air Park. The plane had just taken off on its way to Lawton when it apparently developed engine problems and went down. By the time firemen arrived, what was left of the plane had already exploded. One eyewitness said the plane was never able to gain altitude after takeoff.
It looked like it lost power on the left engine, started gliding toward the ground, hit the power line right above us, which is down here now. The plane hit into the trees and exploded on impact.
The two people inside the plane never had a chance to get out. and were killed when the plane exploded. The plane belonged to a Tennessee firm and was loaded with large caliber practice rounds used by the military. One load of ammunition for the Oklahoma City National Guard Armory had just been dropped off at Expressway Air Park, and the plane was on its way to Fort Sill when it crashed. Firemen had to battle the blaze while the ammunition was going off around them. Fortunately, there are no reports of injuries to any of the emergency personnel who rushed to the scene. The twin-engine Beechcraft crashed and exploded only 100 yards from I-35. It had just taken off from Expressway Air Park on its way to Lawton, loaded with military ammunition, when it apparently developed engine problems and crashed just a short distance from the runway.
It looked like it lost power on the left engine, started gliding toward the ground, hit the power line right above us, which is down here now. The plane hit into the trees and exploded on impact. And at that time, fire took off. We tried to relieve the two men, but it was just too late. The explosion and fire was too hot.
The two men inside never had a chance. They were pronounced dead at the scene. Neither has been identified. They worked for a Tennessee company that hauled ammunition for the military.
75 millimeters. 75 millimeters.
The plane was loaded with large shells like these, bound for Fort Sill. The men had just delivered 300 pounds of shells to the Oklahoma City National Guard Armory prior to the crash. The ammunition created a dangerous situation for firemen, who manned their hoses while shells exploded like popcorn around them. Amazingly, none of them were injured, but pieces of unexploded shells dotted the area around the crash site. Police marked their location with small red flags, and the area would remain sealed until the Army could clean up the ammo.
Of course, the danger exists of them detonating and perhaps injuring someone. The explosive ordnance unit from Fort Sill will be on the scene and take care of the rounds that have detonated and, of course, the ones that have not.
Tonight, a National Guard spokesman said a civilian plane company carrying military ammo is not uncommon.
No, most of our ammunition, once we request it, is delivered by private carriers from the Army arsenal or depots. We'll get training ammunition 8 to 10 times a year. It may come either on aircraft or by truck.
Downed power lines caused by the crash left 650 people without electricity. Tonight, OG&E crews were repairing the damage, and most of those affected were expected to have power restored by the middle of the evening. Jeff Fowler, News 4 in Northeast Oklahoma City.
Last night, talked to some people, and they locked their doors and just got bolted down and just were going to be ready for anything that happened. Had some people that left town, went to some friends in another town, and just lived with it.
It's kind of tough. We had a dam fire going at I know when and our dam. Hello, Kurt. How you doing, Stu? Good.
His spirits were up. He was glad to see me. He was glad to get greetings from his followers in Oregon, some of whom I've been in touch with. So I'm encouraged by seeing him. apparently every place you go where you're incarcerated, the folks around you are smoking, and he has an asthmatic condition, and he would prefer not to be in that environment.
I think that depends upon the volume of patients with heart disease seen at any one particular hospital, the availability of the personnel, not just to perform the heart transplant procedure, but the personnel to evaluate the patient before the transplant, and particularly to take care of the patient after the transplant. I will tell you that we have a lot of patients at this hospital who are potential candidates.
Pat, what kind of occupation are you in?
Like most of us who are nearsighted, contact lenses were the ultimate for this woman when glasses were the only option. But now there's better than that, extended wear contacts, freeing the patient from the daily hassles of cleaning and soaking. Advertisers have pushed the extended wear lenses with lures of 30 days without removal. Eye doctors, though, on a whole, would not recommend that you try it.
And the two problems are problems associated with infection and problems associated with new blood vessels extending onto the corneal surface because of the oxygen deprivation.
The extended wear contacts are mostly water, but still, anytime you cover the cornea, you cut off some of the oxygen supply to it. The incidence of serious complications is pegged at anywhere from 1 to 5%. Be on the alert for red flag warnings like any discomfort or redness. You may not be a good candidate for the lenses. And bear in mind what one eye doctor told us today. The lenses may be advertised as capable of being worn for 30 days, but think how much dirt would collect if you did. And that's just on the surface. Terry, Cook News 4.
Perfect.
Oasis Community Center AIDS hotline. This is Jim. May I help you? It's important to educate the people as to ways that they can get AIDS, not by casual contact. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. The first test? Okay.
Now this material I've got in this bag, just a gray ground up rock, looks fairly innocuous. Well, it's not. It's very dangerous. It's asbestos. It might surprise you to know that asbestos is a naturally occurring mineral that is mined out of the ground just like coal. In the past, asbestos has been milled and processed into thousands of different products that we've all seen and used. But today, the story's a little different.
Currently, it's fairly well limited. At least the largest use is in friction products, brake pads, clutch pads, used for stopping trains and cars and that sort.
About 10 years ago, medical scientists found a very direct relationship between certain kinds of lung cancer and probably some other forms of cancer as well. Since that discovery, an extensive movement has been launched to eliminate the public's exposure to asbestos in every way possible. The chances are you and I know I have been exposed to it to some degree or another in our earlier years. But there's really no reason for panic, as is true with most of the cancer-causing agents. You have to have a lot of exposure, a massive exposure of a material for it to really have any significant effect. Well, I'd just like to tell you in the last several years, asbestos has been eliminated from your life, for the most part. Just rest easy. I'm Dr. Red Duke. Just look at that mess down there. You know, no matter how hard we try to stay healthy, eat right, get plenty of exercise, lots of rest, don't smoke, we're always faced with a lot of other risks in our environment. I'm not talking about smog that descends on a city every now and then, and I guarantee that isn't good for you either. What I am talking about is the little things we come in contact with almost every day, like gasoline. Gasoline contains a chemical known as benzene. It doesn't have much of it in it, but there's a little there. Several years ago, it was found that benzene can cause several diseases.
Benzene is a chemical that causes blood disorders. Certain types of leukemia definitely been linked to benzene exposure. Other kinds are suspected to be caused by benzene, lymphomas, multiple myeloma.
When this information became available, benzene products were promptly removed from all of the shelves of stores, like paint thinner and spot remover. But there's still an infinitesimally small amount of it in gasoline. Now, this is not something to get afraid of or excited about. But the next time that you're at a gasoline pump, just stay upwind while you're filling your car. We live in a tough, hostile environment, and we have to do everything we can as individuals to protect ourselves. It's our individual responsibility to take care of our own health. So take care of it. I'm Dr. Red Duke. Let me ask you a question. Do you take the time to read the information on all the labels that these companies are required to put there for your well-being? Well, if you do, great. If you don't, let me tell you, you're missing something, and you may be setting yourself up for some trouble. Now, whether you're talking about over-the-counter medications or controlling bugs in your garden, you really need to be informed about the substances that you plan to use. The trouble is, sometimes they're hard to understand. If you have that sort of an experience where you really don't understand what it says, either find another product with a clearer label or get some help. It's really worth it. All of these chemical products are useful under the right circumstances and when used properly. All too often, we buy these things without really knowing the hazards of misuse. Please take out time to read the label, know what you're buying, and use it properly. Now, you may think it's a little strange that I've been talking about reading labels all day. Well, I can assure you that as a doctor who sees a lot of sick and injured people in the emergency room that are there as a result of not reading about how to use something, I'm a believer in them. They are there for you and me. Please read them and take good care of yourself. I'm Dr. Red Duke.